So let's go into Bjorn. So again, we see Gaz, and we see the ugliest model in the orc line, Mad Dog Grotznik. Oh, what's up with the scoring system? I should talk to that. It's not what's wrong with it, it's where they're at. So this is their event. So yeah, these guys are like in Sweden or something like that. Or the Netherlands, right? I don't know where that is. I'm not gonna click it. So this is probably like WTC, different kind of scoring system where they go based off 20 points. And then you can like see right here, these are draws if you get a 10. You both people start with like 10 points and they go either direction. Who ends up with more points ends up winning, something like that. So it's a different kind of scoring system in that way, but it's still very similar to 40K. This, when you go to the world champions, the team champions, they play with this kind of scoring system. So that's why I did show it at the end. So if people didn't like it, but hey guys, there's more people than Americans that play 40K. We can look all around, we can look everywhere, okay? Because when when Art of War went and played internationally, they were playing this scoring system as well. So it very much is relevant to what is strong, right? But I'm glad you asked the question. So glad you asked the question because I should have mentioned that. So thank you. I don't know who that is, but check that guy out too. Ooh. So let's look at his matchups here. Remember, do we look at the orc list? So I got a little distracted there. So let's look at this list. We didn't finish with that. We have Ghazghkull Thraka. We got Mad Dog Grotznik with the ugliest model in the orc line. A PAINboss with the Feel No Pain. Follow me, lads. Weird Boy. And then Ghazghkull Thraka. Yeah, he remade his appearance, you guys. There we go. You say even though Grots aren't T5, he's still useful. So we got the 20-man brick of Beast Snagger Boys. 20-man Beast Snagger Boys with the Feel No Pain, of course. We have another unit of Beast Snagger Boys, another small unit of Beast Snagger Boys. 2, 3, 4, and then I think that's 5 units of 10-man boys, followed by another brick of 20 boys, most likely with the Weird Boy. Another big unit of Gretchen. Of course, that goes with Ghazghkull, what I would assume. A 10-man unit of Gretchen. 2 Mega Knobs, which we've been talking about on the Orc Discord quite a bit. It's a Orc Mega Knobs is just for 60 points, guys. Some people really will pay that for, like, not Ripper Swarm necessarily, but they'll pay very cheap for small units that can walk up into the board, hide in a little corner of a piece of terrain, and start to do actions. So that might be what he did here. The Mech Workshop, it actually does screen your backfield. It counts for screening, but it also gives your army like cover that's going to start hiding behind it. They're going to treat it like terrain, get to deploy right on the line possibly, and still not get their movement impeded because you could just drive right through that thing, right? Because as you see on this list, he does not have really many orc vehicles at all, or anything at all. Sorry. He doesn't have any orc vehicles at all on this list. So, actually, he probably put the 20-man unit with Mad Dog Grotznik and used the Weird Boy for the 10-man unit so he could score. Excuse me. But yeah, very, very odd list. I wanted to show it to you guys. Yes, this is what you see in other parts of the world. They play 40K very differently. Still have but very differently, but this is how you can play as well, right? You don't see Squig Hog Boy in sight. You got Ghazghkull, Mad Dog, PAINboss. You're playing for the Feel No Pain on the Feel No Pain with the ability to fall back and charge, and this has the ability to run into you with the actual harder hitting Snagger Boys. Weird Boys, you can stick it to a 10-man unit or by himself for scoring, and then Ghazghkull, so you can start taking over the board quickly and cheaply. No wagons, no truck. He just said, nope, not paying for that. Brought a big unit, brought this unit just to stand in a corner somewhere, and the Mech Workshop to give all these guys cover when they just stand on the line, I guess. Just straight up, or wherever he was choosing to do with it. It was very interesting. But I wanted to show you that list because he did have success with it. So he was just flexing on people. Let's look at his first matchup real quick. We have World Eaters. World Eaters, 1 Jackal brick. Let's see. This Demon Prince right here, I'm very sure that he gives an aura of a 4-up invuln within 6 inches. He does have Angron and Karn the Betrayer. So these guys, when you just take a big unit like this and you just string it out, you give this whole unit a 4-up invuln, and then it also has a 5-up Feel No Pain because you just have to have one model within its aura range. When they wrote this book, they were still playing 9th edition. They didn't know what's happening. Jackals again. And then 1 unit of Khorne Berserkers, probably just for Mr. Karn. Exalted 8-bound. This is their only version of multi-damage, but there's kind of lower amount of attacks with those chain fists. Rhinos, and then 3 Brigands. So yeah, whenever I was been talking about this a while, whenever I see a good successful World Eaters list, I usually see Brigands in them for the most part. I don't see Angron all the time, but I will see Brigands, and if you do see Angron, he's more about that pressure list with the Skull Takers, Lord of Skulls, as we've seen on some other lists. So I get what that list was about, but Bjorn put up 20 points, just so he pretty much one-sided him that game. Second matchup, Chaos Knights. We have the Knight Tyrant, War Dog Stalker, then with our battle lines, so we got Brigand. Oh, I actually didn't see which one this is. Is this the new one that came from Forge World? Interesting. I gotta look at that. It looks like it just shoots, though. Extra hard. That's all I want to do. And then 1 Nurgling Bomb. Okay. Probably just had the points left over for that. Not the most necessarily meta list, but here it is. He still scored all right. You would think against an Ice, maybe he wouldn't be able to tear him down, but he did. Then we got is next, this third matchup. We're gonna go through this quick because I want to look at the other list too. Guard Astra Militarum. We got Gaunt's Ghost. What's up? Lord Solar Leontis. I do understand this as he has great buffing abilities and he makes them reliable to actually kill stuff with your Lehman Russes, and he gives them a bunch of CP. That way they can keep regenning. So he's pretty much an auto take for them. A Platoon Command Squad, Ursula Creed, Catachans, Infantry, not surprised. Chimera, and then we got the Earthshaker batteries, Hellhounds with this great ability to make enemies, make them ignore cover for whatever they flame. So they're going to flame you and then take away their ability, your cover for everybody else to shoot at. 2 Demon Rust Demolishers, that way they get the effect from Leontis, and then Manticores with their damage 3 annoying indirect. There you go. Rogel Dorn Battle Tank, just a very durable tank. Most likely he tries to throw it in the middle of the board and see if you can kill it. And then Scout Sentinels, just to go around. Scout, give their indirect the ability to indirect better, and then probably brings it back, most likely. So you don't see the most Scout Sentinels on here, which I would think is a weakness, but that's just my opinion. So let's look into his fourth matchup, which was Necra. You have the Catan Shard, the Nightbringer. I don't see the enhancements on him, interesting enough. Emotech Stormlord, Orcan Diviner, Overlord, Technomancer, and then Catan, another one. Okay. We got 20 units of warriors with their 1 baby Crypto Thrall, another unit of Crypto Thralls with their brick of Lich Guard, followed by Swarm, Tomb Blades. This is good for, I think I like these for scoring. I don't know about the swarms necessarily, but it seems like a lot of people are really into the swarms. Then you have the Reanimator and Doomsday Arc. Very standard, pretty straightforward Necron list. A ton of characters, some Catans, and then a few bricks. Orcs don't typically always have an issue with that, but okay. And then let's see his fifth matchup. It looks like this is the one he dropped. Into Tyranids, and it's the Vanguard Onslaught detachment. So I'm assuming that the Tyranid player went first. So we have Death Leaper, Winged Prime, Old One Eye, Flyrant. Okay, I don't have a copy of the Tyranid Codex anymore, so I don't know exactly which all these enhancements do anymore, but I do know what Vanguard Onslaught does. They have the ability to fall back and charge, and they can ignore any rules to pretty much typical time you would come in from either Deep Strike or Strategic Reserves. It's 1 turn ahead. They have the capability to. So they can come in turn 1. They can come in, pretty much earlier than you ever want them to. And try to take over the board like that. 3 Gargoyles unit for that moving around and having double movement, essentially. 1 Ripper Swarm Lictor, so you can get into the middle of the board. 3 Neural Lictors is just too efficient. Everybody wants to bring a bunch of these guys all the time. Just stand on objectives and make you fail Battle Shock. Put 3 of them on 1 objective and take it 3 times. You probably fail, according to math. Pyrovore, because Pyrovores are 30 points. That's silly. Biovores, 3 Zoanthropes for those last cannons. He just 1 Carnifex with Crushing Claws, a little odd. And then the Warriors. Once you hurt something, the Warriors can kind of tear it down to finish it off. I believe they get reroll to wounds if it's the ones that I'm thinking about. So yeah, that was his 4th matchup, and he ended up losing that. So I assume the Tyranid player went first because this is just a lot of boys and pain, and pain feel no pains. So you get these kind of units that can make you feel Battle Shock. They can run up to you and get in your, kind of just stand there and charge you to make you kind of bait, move around the table. It's kind of, you would think this is weird that this would actually beat that kind of list of orcs, right? You would think that kind of orc list runs this over for the most part. It does have a Flyrant, which is less common than you would see before. It does have Old One Eye, which is good for punching and be a little durable, but this is not something that you would typically think orc boys would have an issue with. But these melee warriors are quite reliable when they're re-rolling wounds and such, and they get a good amount of attacks. That could be a counter that he had, and maybe just his characters as a whole. But surprisingly, yeah, he did lose this one. I'm assuming possibly because the Tyranid player went first and just started pressuring him. I'm not very sure what happened there, but he did actually lose that game. And then the 6th one, he just put up a 20 into World Leaders again. So you pretty much knew how to play them already. This is a very similar list. This is like a turn 1 version of the list, I believe, where they try to charge you turn 1. Master of Indirect Combat right here. He essentially just annihilates any character in the game, including Maz. He gets D3 more attacks and damage to his weapons, and then he rerolls hits and wounds. He gets devastating, and he gets fight first. So he'll put like 24 wounds into Maz, which is mathematically just enough to kill him. So we have Jackals, Corn Berserkers, a small unit Corn Berserkers, Rhinos, A-Bound, Forge Mauler Fiend. I'd rather just see 2 Mauler Fiends than just see this Forge Fiend on here. It doesn't really get any buffs, and I don't know what that's a little fun little ally, really. Exalted A-Bound, they're all right. As for a whole, if you don't see like Mauler Fiends, Brigands, the Demon Prince, or that version that turn 1 charges you with the Lord of Skulls is not what's necessarily meta right now for World Eaters, but they're just trying to figure out their stride. So great job to Bjorn.